to quick concepts. These are quick concepts aimed at my Calculus 1 students. Obviously, anybody can use them, but these are just to help them along as they review and get back into math for the year. Okay, so what we're going to do is today we're going to talk about cube factoring. Well, what do we mean? It's cube root factoring, actually, and we've talked about factoring where you come out with, we factor trinomials. I have an advanced factoring where we talk about factoring with different exponents, and we factor with grouping. So today we're going to talk about cube root factoring. So how do you know if it's a cube root factor? Well, you got to start to recognize certain things. So I'm going to show you two problems here, and I'm going to show you how to recognize them and the two patterns you need to remember. Okay, so first of all, let me just show you that any numbers that are involved can have a cube root. So obviously this is thought to be a 1. 1 has a cube root of 1. This 27 here has a cube root of 3. This 8 has a cube root of 2, and obviously the supposed 1 in front of that is a cube root. So that's a hint. Also, if you look at all my exponents, what are they divisible by? They're divisible by 3. Okay? So that tells us, that's how you notice this is a cube root. So if you remember how I taught this back in, I think it first introduced in Algebra 2, and then it comes in again in Advanced Math. When it has a negative here, you're going to put a negative and then a plus, plus, okay? When it's a positive, you're going to do a positive, then a negative, plus. So these are things you want to memorize, okay? Now remember, just like FOIL, you can work these back out and check your work, but it's really important that you see what's going on, okay? Now, just for a quick reference, if I were to run this negative through this guy right here, through both of them, I would end up with a negative. But if I ran this plus through, I'd end up with a negative, a positive, and a positive. So the negatives and the positives in the middle number would cancel out, which is what you want, right? And then the positive would be left in the middle. So that's kind of like a quick way to know what is going on. So here we go. When you take the cube root of a number, that's pretty easy. The cube root of 27 is 3, and the cube root of 8 is 2. Done with that. When you take the cube root of a exponent, you're actually dividing. Do you remember when I taught you all about your power is your flower, and the flower's on top and the roots are on the bottom? So that's what it comes from. So think about this 6. How do I know what the cube root of that is? Well, if it's a power is 6 and I'm looking for the root, it's 2. I'm dividing by 3. See how it all comes back together? I love math. Anyway, so look at this one. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay, now let's go over here. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now, how do we figure out leftovers? Okay, well, all you have to do with the numbers is divide. So 27 divided by 3, that's going to give me a 9. I'm going to put that there. 8 divided by 2 is a 4. When you're dealing with exponents, what do? You subtract, okay? Remember that when they're division, it's subtraction for exponents, okay? So I would say 6 minus 2 is going to give me an a to the 4th. 3 minus the 1 is going to give me a b squared, and 3 minus the 1 is a c squared. Here, I'm going to say 3 minus the 1 is squared, 2 left over. 6 minus the 2 is 4, and 12 minus the 4 is 8. Now, the last part is in the middle, and this is what's really interesting. All you have to do is take these two, ignore the sign, and squish it together. So remember, the number always has to come first. I have an a squared, a b, and a c. I'm literally just taking this over and squishing it together in the middle. Okay, same thing here. I'm just going to squish this together in the middle, make sure the number comes first, And you can put it in alphabetical order. You can put it just like it is. But as you can see, these are just being squished together without the sign. So our final answer here is a squared minus 3bc, a to the fourth plus 3a squared bc plus 9b squared c squared. And then this one would be xy squared plus 2m to the fourth times x squared y to the fourth minus 2xy squared m to the fourth plus 4m to the eighth. And that is it. That's cube rooting. Cube rooting. Is that even a word? I don't know.